On a quiet night in Riverside, California, Justin Hilbert kissed his young son goodnight, cast one last glance at his partner, Tanya, and stepped out the door. He had no idea that beyond that door, the darkness concealed a deadly plan, one that would end his life in an instant. As the hours passed and he did not return, Tanya's worry grew into dread. The only trace of him was a short message sent from his phone. 2 chilling words. "It's over." Ambiguous, yet heavy with fear. Who was Tanya? Born in the mid-1980s, she grew up in a stable household that taught her discipline and responsibility. She carved out a career in logistics, earning a reputation for her commitment and precision. In her early adulthood, she met Jared Bischoff, a former U.S. Marine. At first, he seemed perfect, mature, strong, dependable. But behind that facade lurked a man consumed by control, jealousy, and manipulation. Over time, her marriage turned into a nightmare of emotional abuse that escalated into violence. Tanya refused to remain a victim. She gathered evidence, preparing for divorce. But Jared would not let go. He stalked her, showed up near her home, threatened her, and clung to the illusion of control. Amid this turmoil, a new figure entered her life, Justin Hilbert. A calm, conflict-averse man who longed only for a simple and steady life. They met in 2015, when Tanya was still healing from her past. Justin didn't rush her or pressure her. He simply stood beside her, quietly offering support. That quiet strength grew into love, and love blossomed into a family. When Tanya discovered she was pregnant, Justin embraced the news without hesitation. In 2016, their son, Logan, was born. Justin devoted himself to fatherhood, learning to swaddle, bottle feed, and endure sleepless nights. But behind this fragile peace, another shadow lingered. Jared could not bear to see Tanya with another man. His obsession deepened, his resentment grew, and his presence loomed over their lives like a storm waiting to break. And then, from another corner of this story, there was Bailey Sharp. Born into a law enforcement family, her future seemed destined for success. But in her teens, everything shifted when she was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, followed by lupus. Chronic pain and constant medical restrictions eroded her strength, pushing her onto a darker path, one that would, in time, intersect tragically with Tanya and Justin's story. Bailey Sharp began her descent into addiction with marijuana, then moved on to prescription painkillers, and eventually to far more dangerous substances. Despite several attempts at rehab, she always found herself back at the starting point. In 2015, she decided to leave Seattle in search of a new beginning in California. But by then, her social ties were nearly severed, and her family relationships deeply fractured. There, she faced unstable housing and the struggle to find steady work. In this fragile state, Jared Bischoff entered her life. He wasn't looking for romance, he was looking for control. He saw her weakness as an opportunity to manipulate and use her for his own hidden purposes. On June 20th, 2016, everything changed. That day seemed ordinary for Tanya, Justin, and their infant son, Logan. They spent the day together as a family, unaware of the storm brewing in the shadows. Suddenly, Tanya received a strange message from Bailey, accusing Justin of living a double life. She showed it to Justin, who calmly dismissed it as false, reassuring her that someone was trying to plant doubt between them. He promised to uncover the truth. That evening, Justin left the house as usual, but the hours went by and he never returned. Tanya tried calling and texting, but by midnight, his phone had gone silent. The next morning, she received a chilling message from his number. "Don't wait. It's over." Cold words, stripped of any warmth, words that sounded nothing like him. In that instant, Tanya knew something was terribly wrong. Her fears were confirmed. A passerby discovered a man's body near a rural road by Lake Matthews, his clothes soaked in blood. There were no signs of a struggle, but the medical examiner revealed the truth. A gunshot to the head had ended his life, after he had already been stabbed multiple times. It was clear Justin had been attacked elsewhere, then dumped like discarded evidence. Even more unsettling, several of his belongings were missing: his phone, wallet, and work badge. Justin never left without them. But forensic traces told a different story. Tiny fibers and microparticles suggested he had been transported from another location. Who would want Justin dead? Everyone who knew him described him as calm, gentle, with no debts, no enemies, and no conflicts. It seemed like a crime without motive. But investigators soon found a lead: Bailey Sharp. She had contacted Tanya just before Justin's disappearance. A deeper look revealed her transient lifestyle, a criminal record, and drug-related history. And then came the most troubling detail: her frequent connections to Jared Bischoff, Tanya's ex-husband. There was no direct proof of their collaboration, but the threads of the mystery were beginning to weave together, hinting at a far darker conspiracy behind Justin's murder. The investigation took a shocking turn when authorities discovered that the IP address Bailey used to log into her social media was also linked to an account belonging to Jared Bischoff. The bond between Bailey and Jared was undeniable, though the true nature of their relationship remained uncertain. Investigators couldn't dismiss the possibility that Jared was unaware of Bailey's actions, but all signs pointed toward a coordinated plan. Surveillance continued discreetly, and soon the most chilling detail emerged. The text Tanya received that morning from Justin's phone was not written by Justin at all. By then, Justin was already dead, his phone in Bailey's hands. She had sent the message herself, a calculated move to buy time and prevent suspicion. Once Bailey was declared a wanted fugitive, her trail became elusive. Phones off, accounts silent. Her only trace was a pharmacy camera capturing her in a mask and hood, buying painkillers and water with a false ID. After that, she vanished. Digging deeper, investigators found a disturbing pattern. In the weeks before Justin's death, Bailey was often seen near a secluded complex in Riverside, frequently accompanied by another car. That vehicle was registered to none other than Jared Bischoff, Tanya's ex-husband. Tanya had long feared Jared's controlling behavior. Friends recalled her desire to install a security system, convinced he posed a threat. Now, his sudden reappearance alongside Bailey painted a far darker picture. When police searched an apartment Jared was secretly using, they found chaos: discarded food, Bailey's belongings, and a blood-stained knife hidden in a shirt. The blood matched Justin Hilbert. But Jared was gone, and so was Bailey. Witnesses placed them together in bars and late-night spots. One bartender remembered hearing Jared mutter phrases like, "She ruined everything, and he won't be around much longer." It became clear Justin was eliminated so Jared could tighten his grip on Tanya. Bailey was not acting alone. She was the pawn in a calculated scheme, while Jared pulled the strings from the shadows. Bailey sent Tanya deceitful messages, accusing Justin of betrayal. Her intention was clear: plant doubt, ignite conflict, and ultimately drive Justin away. That same evening, after receiving those messages, Justin left his home, unaware he was being drawn into a carefully laid trap. No one would ever see him alive again. Days later, investigators discovered his abandoned car on a remote roadside. Inside were bloodstains and a partial fingerprint, evidence of something sinister. Suspicion quickly turned toward Danny Serrano, a man with a violent past. Though he denied involvement, his conflicting statements only deepened the mystery. Witnesses later placed him alongside Bailey, acting strangely, changing clothes, discarding items, and even threatening a bartender to stay silent. The trail led investigators to Justin's phone, found discarded in a dumpster, its damaged records revealing the final messages that lured him away. Soon after, a motel in Arizona drew attention. Staff recalled a quiet man and woman, Jared and Bailey, who paid in cash and left the room meticulously scrubbed. Traces of blood remained in the shower drain. Not long after, Bailey herself was found dead in the desert, brutally stabbed, her body abandoned without belongings. Near the site, Jared's fingerprints betrayed his presence. It became clear. Jared had silenced his partner to remove any loose ends, leaving himself the sole suspect in both murders. As the net tightened, Jared was spotted at a diner, then caught during a routine traffic stop in New Mexico. His car held cash, false IDs, and little else. But the evidence spoke for him. Justin's blood on a knife, Bailey's blood in the motel, Jared's DNA inside Justin's car. The final twist came when Danny Serrano confessed, unraveling the last threads of the case and exposing a chilling web of betrayal, violence, and calculated deception. During a second interview, fearing a life sentence, Danny agreed to cooperate with investigators. He admitted that Jared had fired the fatal shot and used the knife, while Danny had helped restrain Justin and later dispose of the body. His account aligned with digital and physical evidence as well as the established timeline. Investigators also discovered that some of the messages sent to Tanya from Bailey's phone were not written by Bailey herself, but by a man. Forensic linguists confirmed that Jared had written these texts, proving that he was the mastermind and direct perpetrator of the crime, acting in coordination with Bailey. In the spring of 2017, the trial began with charges including the first-degree murder of Justin Hilbert, the death of Bailey Sharp, conspiracy, and destruction of evidence. The jury found Jared guilty on all counts, sentencing him to 2 life terms without the possibility of parole. Danny revealed that Jared's original plan had targeted both Tanya and Justin, but he later decided that a quick death for his ex-wife would not suffice. He believed the true suffering would come from leaving her alive, forcing her to face life without the person she loved, while raising their child, constantly reminded of the horrors that had unfolded. Jared's plan to keep Tanya alive was a deliberate cruelty, designed to make her live with the echo of the crime, a perpetual sense of guilt and fear that would never fade.